Yes. Anyone, any question, any confusion, any doubt you want to share or discuss? Or we should
Very clear,
proceed?
sir.
Yes.
It's clear for me.
Hmm?
I have no question.
Okay, no question. It's okay. So if there is no question right now, no problem. You can ask question later on. What we are trying to do, we'll keep the another class only for the discussion. One class of the 30 minutes or some besides these three classes. Okay. Kadir Ahmed, check your sound. Here sound is good. I am receiving the sound also, and I thought students are getting the sound. Check your settings. So today is a very important topic. One of the most important topic in the research methodology, upon which the whole research depends. That is selection and definition of the research problem, right? And this is the one of the toughest job for any researcher, any people who are trying to pursue the research in their career. So let us. Let me mute all. Okay. So we are going to start from this slide, selecting and defining a research problem, right? Let me get out of this one. Okay. So you know that beginning of a research is the most difficult and very important step. Why it is most difficult? Because at the beginning you don't have the sufficient idea, knowledge. You don't have the tools to conduct the research or knowledge about that tools. And you are going to jump in the field of this unknown. That makes it very difficult. Please mute your microphone. Okay. If you are speaking to someone nearby you, I request you to mute your microphone. So beginning of a research is a difficult task and difficult for all the people, not for the only one you or anyone. So keep in mind when you are trying to find a research area, research topic, and you are facing the difficulty, this is normal. Don't think like this is a very easy thing and you are not able to do, others are doing like this one. No, it is a very tough job. So what we do at the initial identifying and studying the problem in a specific term. A specific means you have to be very specific, not in a vague or some generic term. Because whenever you are going to base your objective of the research should be based upon your research problem. How you are going to solve the research problem, what you are going to find out as an output, result, that will decide the objectives. During the selection and defining a problem, you are going to do the identifying the variables in the problem. There may be so many variables that is affecting the output or your objective, or that is contributing to the problem. Reason behind the problem. One, you get the reason. What are the causes? Why that is happening? Then it becomes somewhat easy to find out the solution. And generating the tentative guesses, hypothesis. Already we have talked about the hypothesis, right? Already we have talked about the hypothesis, some relationship between the variables. for the given phenomena. And writing explicitly research questions for which answer are we sought. So these kind of activity you are going to do. Today onward, we are going to have a participative class, not the one-sided class. Means you are going to involve yourself. And how to involve yourself, I'll talk about that one later on. Let me. Okay. So when you're going to define the research problem, what should a researcher must know? To define a problem correctly, anything. When you're going to define a, please mute your microphone. Again and again, I am muting, but someone is again and again unmuting that one. Let me take this. Okay. You won't be able to unmute. Okay. To define a problem correctly, a researcher must know what a problem is. And how do you know about that one? There are different sources. You will discuss from where you can get the problem, how can you define that one. But when you're going to state the problem or component of a research problem may be consist of the 3-4 research questions, 3-4 research objectives, or write that one. When you're going to combine that one, you are going to solve the one research problem. So an individual group which has some difficulty or problem, from there you can find out the what can be the problem. Like you can visit the industry and ask for them, is there any problem going on that you want to solve through the research? There should be some objective research. When you're going to look upon the problem, is really a research problem or not? You want to find out. How do you know this is a research problem? That requires some sort of the research. Some problem can easily be solved. If someone is thirsty, get the water and drink. That is not a research problem. Where research comes, if there is something unknown to be found out, then you have to search, inquire about that phenomenon, right? So, whenever you're going to do the research, there should be some objective to be attained. If one wants nothing, means final objective is nothing, you don't want to achieve anything, that is not a research problem. Also, the problem you're going to identify can be solved by the different alternative methods, means course of action, right? There should be some alternative, some different methodology. One methodology is this one, another is this one, third one is this one, and you can follow one out of that one to solve that problem. Here means alternatives, right? Okay. If there is no choice, that is not a problem. Like suppose in your house you are preparing the lunch or something, and you have prepared only one meal, one type of the food. So it's obvious you have to eat that one. No choice there. But if there will be more than one type of the food in your house available for the lunch, then you can apply your mind there, what to eat or what to not eat, or all to eat. Then you can make a decision. So if alternative is available, then you can apply your mind and find out what to do or not. Okay. So if there is no different alternatives, that cannot be considered as a problem, right? Whenever you're going to define a research problem, there should be always a doubt in the mind of the researcher with regard to selection of the alternatives. Whether I follow this path or that path, or how to solve that problem, and why should I follow this path like this one. There are so many alternatives to solve a problem. How do you get the knowledge about the alternative? What is the alternative? A comprehensive literature. There are different sources. Your supervisor, your colleagues, expert in that field. Reading a lot of the literature related to that area, that will suggest what process or what path you should follow to solve a problem. So you should have the doubt always. Let's say if you're going to select the one method to solve a problem, whether this is the best one or something else can be done or like this one. And there must be some environment to which the difficulty pertains. Okay. Now selecting a problem, you have to be very careful, right? Very, very careful when you're going to select a problem. This task is very difficult one. Sometimes it seems very easy to us that, okay, I'll do this one or the, no. It is not so easy to selecting a problem, research problem. If you're going to meet all the criteria of a research problem, that is very difficult. And that requires a lot of the effort, lot of the studies, discussions, brainstorming, and other things. Okay? And this is a very important component of any research you are going to do. Whole your research, how that is going to proceed and what you can achieve, that depend upon the selection of the problem. Right? So, what should be some criteria? How to select the problem? Don't go for that kind of subject or topics that is overdone. A lot of research has been done, that is saturated. Because if a lot of work already done in that field, there is very little scope for you to get something new from there. And if you're not getting something new, whether that is theory or some model or something like that one, that should not be considered as a research. Novelty, coming with something new, throwing some new light on some phenomena or some case, that is the research. Okay. So when you're going to select the problem, please keep in mind these are the practical advices. Okay. In the theory note, I have the different approach. That is pure theoretical. I will send you the theory note also. So whenever you're going to select any topic, any subject on which you want to do the research, please try to select such kind of topic in which a very little or moderate research has been conducted. That is not saturated, right? Controversial subjects should not become the choice of an average researcher or new researcher. There are so many controversial subjects, basically in the humanities and other fields. In technical field, controversy has nothing to do because we deal with the facts and figures. So very little chance of the controversy can happen in engineering and that kind of field. But sometimes people present the result in a manipulated way, and that gives rise to some sort of the controversy. Third one, too narrow or too vague problems should be avoided. Very narrow, very small scope. Right? Or that is not clear, very vague. That kind of problem should be avoided. The subject selected for the research should be familiar and feasible, so that related research material sources of the research are within the reach. Depending upon the researchers, your qualification, your background, how familiar you are with the particular subject, more knowledge you have, that means more chances of the success in the research. And also you have to keep in mind the practical feasibility of the research, whether you are able to conduct it in the given time frame, budget, whatever time left. That kind of criteria you have to keep in the mind. Let's say for the master thesis, you should not consider a problem that can be solved in the PhD duration. 3 years, 4 years. So time is also a criteria. You have to, before selecting a problem, you have to keep in your mind that, okay, I have only 6 months or 1 year to complete this project. Right? So there's different criteria, different limitation will be there. You have to keep all that thing in mind when you're going to select the problem. Your own experience, your knowledge of your supervisor, field of your supervisor that is guiding you. And remember, supervisor is not going to do research for you. He can only show the path. Like he is at some red light, you want to take the left or right or a straight turn, he can say that, okay, if you take this turn, you can reach easily. The path of research has to be traveled by yourself. And whether you are going to reach to your destination or not, because path is yours, project is yours, supervisor can only guide you. That will make your journey easy. If sometimes there should be any kind of bottleneck, he will try to solve that one. But as a researcher, you have to travel that path. You have to find out. And by that way, you are going to learn a lot. Okay. So you can contact an expert or a professor in the institute or university. They are already engaged in the research. They can suggest. You can discuss. You can give the broad area. Okay, sir, I want to do the research in this one, depending upon your interest. And you can contact them if they have something, some research problem, because they are engaged in the research, they are updated. What's going on in a particular area, particular field, and what is the future direction of research in that area. They can easily suggest some topic or they can guide you to select the problem. Okay. Here, your supervisor can help in selecting the problem. But already you have some problem in your mind you want to solve. You can get the problem from anywhere by looking, by observing your nearby area, industry. You can get the problem from anywhere, no problem. If you have already decided a problem, then you don't need to talk to any university professor or expert or whatever that may be. But you can take help. Other sources can be literature. Read a lot of literature from your area. Let's say if you are interested in the some sort of the performance optimization in the machining, search journal paper, research paper in that area. There's a very good site. Let me show you how to search the papers. Let me open. Okay. When you are going to, are you able to see this screen browser? There is a site known as the scholars.google.com. right? Scholar.google.com. Here you can type your major area. They like performance optimization of, let's say, EDM machining. Okay. I am interested to do some project on the EDM, let's say, and I want to optimize the performance of the parameter or whatever. This gives about 26,200 results. And here look, if you're going to look upon the 2006 paper, 2010 paper, they are very old. Technology is developing in such a level that in 10 years, a lot of the development has taken place. So what we do? We are interested into getting the latest research direction. Like, let's say I'm going to set the here custom range since 2017, last 5 years or 4 years. Now you can see the papers from the last 4 years. And what they are discussing, machining parameter optimization, on which this material type is like this one. If I'm going to download some papers, like if I click this one, let's say, this is the paper, okay, open, and how to find out your paper is related to your field or not, or the whatever idea you are taking. First read the title of the paper. If title is somewhat connected to your research area, then go for the abstract. Abstract is free available. Find out the what is discussed as abstract, how they are optimized, parameters, and are they are in the same line as you are thinking of, same kind of the material or not. Like, so read out the abstract, correlate with your research area you want to do. Like in this, they have used the Taguchi methodology and gray relational analysis for the optimization. Taguchi, very good process. Taguchi methodology, design of experiment, right? If you're thinking to have something like that one, then you can download. Still, if you have some confusion that abstract is not clear, whether that is connected to my area or not, then you go and read out the conclusion part, what they have achieved. Is that somewhat related to the what you're trying to achieve? Is there something relation, something correlated or like this one? And if you find that, okay, this is related to, somewhat related to my area, then you can download this paper. Okay. Download this paper. Like this one. And download, read, and you will get a lot of idea from this process, reading, doing the literature survey. This will complete your one chapter of the thesis literature survey. These kind of papers will support your research, your topic, whatever that may be. And from this, you can get a lot of idea. Each paper almost, except some, also discuss the future research direction, what they have left with, what they're trying to do in the future. And you can take that problem as your problem. So from that also, you can get idea about the problems, techniques, whatever. Other discuss with the others what he has in mind concerning a problem. Tell something, your friend from your class, other friends, your friends, someone working in the industry, discuss with them. I'm thinking about this kind of problem or this area is there, something like that one. They will say something about whether that is applicable or it is feasible or not or whatever. A lot of idea you can get from that one. You can arrange the brainstorming session among a small group. You can make a group of the 3, 4, 5 people. Do the brainstorming. Brainstorming means discussing all the possible things without caring about the whether that is feasible or not. Feasibility can be checked later. Technical feasibility, implementation feasibility, budget feasibility, time feasibility. There are so many feasibility criteria. But when you're going to apply that feasibility criteria, once you have some problem in mind, then you can check, okay, this problem can be solved in this duration or not. This is the budget. Am I able to solve this problem within this budget or not? So that came later on, not at the time of the selection of problem. Okay. So the importance of the subject, qualifications of the trainer or researcher, cost is involved, and time factors. These can be criteria applied to select the one problem. Let's say you have come with the 4, 5 research problem. Then you have to look upon how important that topic is, how significant that research would be. Are people looking for this kind of research or not? I'm going to contribute something that can appeal to the whole mass in that related area or not. Then you think about your qualification, your aptitude, your knowledge, basic knowledge, fundamental one. Because during the research, you are going to build upon that knowledge. You have to expand your knowledge base by reading a lot of material, doing the literature review, all sorts of things. Then cost and time factor. And selection of problem must be preceded by preliminary studies, some previous study, initial study. Preliminary means initial. Okay. You have to do a brief feasibility study, whether techniques are involved, are available or not. If you select some problem and that is not, you are not able to get any facility to conduct the experiment. Let's say we don't have that kind of machine. Let's say someone is saying, okay, I'm going to make the atomic bomb. Okay, that's good. Ethiopia doesn't have the atomic bomb. But do you have that kind of infrastructure, support, time, money, government policies? That can be a good project to solve, but really that is feasible or not? That has to be checked. Okay. So techniques is the defining a problem is a statement of problem in the general way. What the problem is, understanding the nature of problem, what kind of problem is that, technical, social, what kind of problem, the optimization, performance related, quality related, anything. Then you're going to developing the idea through discussions, and then finally you're going to rephrasing the research problem into working proposition. What is the difference between these two? Why do you regard the rephrasing research problem into working proposition? If you go to someone, let's just think of customers' requirements. How change the customer requirement into technical statement. That is a classic example. If you go to the some customer about the some automobile vehicles and like that one and say that, what is your requirement? So he may say, I want the high speed vehicle, the mileage means fuel consumption per unit of distance should be good, or like that. So he is not going to give any specific value. High speed vehicle means high speed is a linguistic term. For one person, speed of the 60 kilometer per hour may be high speed. For another person, 120 kilometer per hour is a high speed. That based upon the opinion, right? So as a technical person, we have to convert that into the requirement. And same thing here. If there is a research problem, that has to be in the working proposition. That means some specific value should be there. A specific improvement or question should be there, right? So what is the statement of problem in the general way? The statement should be stated in a broad general way, keeping in mind the social practices, concern or some scientific and intellectual interest. Okay. You have to develop the problem statement in your thesis. And where problem statement lies, what need to be achieved and what presently we have. If you're going to fill up that gap, you can get the problem statement between these two. What should be and where we are. There is always a gap between these two states. And between that, you can find out the problems, how to achieve that one, right? Understanding the nature, origin, from where that problem is coming. Okay. You can discuss with the other people. From where originally problem is coming, they have some objective in their mind. Also, a lot of problem depends on the environmental factors. What kind of environment is there? What kind of work culture is there? You have to keep in view the environment also. Environmental variables will be there. They may be affecting the output of any result. Already I talked about the surveying the literature to understand the problem in the better way. How to do the literature review, how to collect the paper. We can have the practical class upon that one, how to download the papers. If there is no subscription, there are some, not you can say morally, but we don't have so much money, finances, so that we can buy each and every paper. So some of the sites support that causes. They give the link of paper in the free way. That may not be ethical, but at this stage, you can't invest so much money in collecting the paper or buying the research papers. So I will tell you how to do that kind of stuff. You can develop the idea through discussions. You can discuss with each other, right? You can discuss with each other, or you can survey some people. You can do some sort of the Delphi study, meet some expert. People have a very good experience, rich experience in the particular area. Discuss with them. Don't shy away. This is not a test of your intellect or your knowledge. You are trying to get the better and better research topic. Okay. Already talked about the phrasing your research problem in the working proposition. The following point must also be observed while defining a research problem. When you're defining a research problem, any technical word or phrase or something should be clearly defined. Some words have the different meaning at the different time. And if you're taking any assumptions, assuming something, sometimes we took assumptions. In that case, that assumption should be mentioned. Like, when you are going to study about the Newton's law of cooling or Newton's law of viscosity and like that one. So that is only applicable to that is the assumption, applicable to the Newtonian fluid or like this. Some criteria, right? Now we have left with less than 1 minute. So I want to stop at this point. We will continue this class tomorrow also, right? If you have any questions, you can ask. And don't forget to write yes in the chat box. If you're not writing yes, I won't be able to provide the attendance for this class. Any question? You can unmute. No.